Hello and welcome to this video, and this video is called What It's Really Like Being a Musician. And the Eagle Eye will have noticed you that this video has come out on a Thursday night. It's not my normal night, you know. I thought last night I need to make this video. It's going to be different to normal videos I make, and I thought I'm going to put it out Thursday night because I think I really need to address this on the channel. Yesterday I released an incredible interview with Russell Gilbrook from Uriah Heep, where he really started to highlight what it's like trying to work as a musician in today's climate. And he plays with Uriah Heep, one of the biggest bands in history, right? You know, a legendary band. You know, people who play music, they do it first and foremost because they love it, right? And that means they will do stuff because they want to. And often the music industry can take advantage of that. And when there was a want for real musicians playing real instruments, we had a bit of purchase, but now people are quite happy to listen to computers. So people playing instruments in real time, in real life, does not have the necessary purchase it once had to enable some bargaining power. And I really want to, rather than just discuss it in an airy-fairy philosophical sense, I want to, show you, the punters and the musicians that watch this channel, a real life situation so they can see what's going on. So, on the 20th of July, I am playing at a venue called the Mars Bar in Worcester in the United Kingdom. It is with a group called The Law of Three. The Law of Three is a band that formed down to this YouTube. I became a big fan of a guitarist called Roy Marchbank, who is pushing the envelope on every aspect of guitar playing at the moment. And through my sort of love of what he was doing, he made contact, and eventually we formed a band, right? And we will be playing on 20th of July at the Mars Bar with that band. On bass, I have the complete opposite, a guy that I've been playing with for nearly 30 years, a guy called Mark Hartley, who I've also featured on this channel, is an absolute bass virtuoso. We are going to be going into rehearsal room next week for 4 days straight, unpaid, 4 days straight, to try and get this music together, because we're trying to do jazz, but not jazz standard jazz. We're trying to push the envelope of what jazz is. Okay, now this event is being put on by a company called Music Spoken Here, named after the John McLaughlin album. That is run by a guy called Dave Fuller. Dave Fuller is trying to establish in Worcester in the United Kingdom, i.e. not London, he is trying to establish a venue that will put on cutting edge jazz. Now there's quite a few jazz venues in the area I live, but they tend to put on the much older style conservative guys standing up and playing out the real book, right? He's trying to put on funky bands, fusion bands, electronic-y type bands. He's trying to create a scene there, all right? And he is not making any profit out of this. He is doing this because he loves it. So you've got us musicians doing it because we love it, and you've got Dave doing it because he loves it, right? And he's trying to make something happen. So he sent me an email today, and I've just rung him up and said, can I have your permission to read out what you've sent me? And he said, yeah, sure. So this is from Dave. It came in yesterday. The gig is on the 20th, and today is the 5th, right? Hi Andy, as promised, here's an update on the marketing activity for the gig at the Mars Bar. The event has been listed on the Mars Bar website, on Jazz West Midlands, on Gig Juice, on Jazzman, in Slap Magazine, and the Music Spoken Here websites, 5 local press websites, and he's listed all the different newspapers has covered it. The event is published on Facebook, and to date we have 5 saying they're going to go and 41 interested. Right? He has done a meta advert which has been running since the 26th of June. It's reached over 4,000 people, and 79 people have clicked on the ticket list link, right? He's also promoting through Twitter and on TikTok. And he said, but as that's quite recent, I don't have a following and the reach is low. I'm learning how to use these more effectively. Right, the people who work in the industry are behind when it comes to how the internet works, especially TikTok. This is like a dark area that only the kids know, and that is an issue. He sent out an email to all the subscribers. He's put the event on Eventbrite on the 16th of June, and he's announced a support act. He has another band. He's paying out of his own pocket for another band to come who have a following. He's distributed 3,500 flyers around the local area. And he's going to, over the next couple of weeks, distribute another 2,500, right? So that is what he's done to promote this gig. He's a good promoter. He's out there, not getting paid and trying to get the news of this gig I'm doing. This event was published on Eventbrite, that's the ticket selling website, on the 22nd of April, at which point an email notification was sent to all Eventbrite subscribers. To date, this event has had 214 visits and it has sold 3 tickets. Right? Now, of course, if we were putting on Coldplay, those tickets would have sold, but we're not. They're putting on me, Mark Hartley, and Roy Marchbank, right? To many people, that's an unknown quantity, right? Now, the thing I am most known for now is this YouTube. So I thought, well, I'm going to go on and do my thing. I've come on here and done my thing, explain what's going on. There might be some of you go, well, I didn't know this gig was going on, and you might want to buy a ticket. Those of you who live in the UK, especially in the Midlands, you might want to come and see it, right? But just to give you an idea, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to promote new music. We're trying to get new artists out there that aren't that well known. So I'm going to do the job of letting you know who I'm playing with. So this is what Roy Marchbank sounds like. And this is what Mark Hartley sounds like. And of course, last but not least, this is what I sound like. We formed a new band, we've got a new album coming out, and this is the launch, the official launch of this band. So if any of you can get to the gig, please, come to the gig, and we'd love to see you there. And if you, follow my channel, we can have a chat and all that type of thing. Now, why is this happening? I mean, I want to show you from the musician's point of view. When I'm in rehearsals with Roy for those 4 days, my time would be much better spent creating YouTube videos. That would be much, and I would reach, if I did say 5,000 to 10,000 views on those 3 videos that I could make in that time, that would be reaching 15,000 people. If we sell this gig out, it will only be in the hundreds, right? So it begs the question why bands are focusing still on trying to make albums and trying to do gigs. Are they not putting the horse before the cart? Is it the fact that now every musician should be thinking as their main leading product, not the album and the tour, but the internet? Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. The people who understand how to manipulate that are the ones who create their career. As you know, I'm a big fan of Louis Cole and Noah. And they first established themselves on YouTube by doing very funky, jazzy interpretations of pop songs. Something at the time which was a very sort of clickbaity thing to do. And they've established a career, and now they are able to go around touring. Now, if you look at Noah, their new album, which I've got to say is the best album Noah's made. And if you want to hear Noah, go and check out the new album, Noah Ferrero. I've done a review on it, and I'm still listening to it, and the more I listen to it, the more I love it. They've really nailed what Noah is. Now, that's, they, at the start, only put it up on Bandcamp, because they put all this sweat and tears and love into this album, and they know if they put it up out on Spotify, right, they're going to get nothing back. Spotify works, right, if you have millions and millions and millions of listens, right? If you're an old established artist like Pink Floyd and you stick all your albums up there, millions of people now list on there and they'll make money. And it's those people who are moaning about Spotify. But the truth is, Spotify is not good for avant-garde, experimental, up-and-coming, innovative artists that are trying to build a following, you know. So Noah, interestingly, at the start, just put it up on Bandcamp. It was up there, you could listen to it for a few weeks, and then they restricted some of the tracks, so now you can only listen to 3 tracks. And now it is on Spotify, but the same 3 tracks are the only ones you can actually listen to, and they coincide to the videos that they've put out. This is a clever move. This is a band that knows how to work the internet, and they're taking that following. For years and years they've been giving everything away, but they've taken that following and they are now winding it in and trying to push it down an area where they can get some money back. Now, why do they want to make this money? Is it because they want to become rich and powerful and rule the world, you know, and become a billionaire like Elon Musk or Bezos? No, it's so that they can put the music back, the money back into the music and make more music. This is the best thing about musicians, and it is their Achilles heel. Right, but on top of that, okay, you are dealing with an audience which, there's an issue with the audience. It's always been there, and it's a really hard thing to get round. Music fans love what they know. And when they are faced with something they know, they open their arms and embrace it. Even if it's a bit rubbish, they still open their arms and embrace it and hold it to themselves and go, oh, well, it's not their best album, but I'll buy it anyway. And I always support this band. In other words, music they know, when they come into contact with it, they send it to their pleasure receptors in their brain. This has been proved scientifically. When you're approached with music you don't know, right? When faced with that, you go, what is this? And you actually treat it like a threat. And you try and box it up, put it in place, and then scan it for threats, right? Now, working with Roy now, Roy is a huge threat. Roy is such a groundbreaking guitarist, right? That when people are faced with him for the first time, straight off, there is a gut reaction to go, well, this can't be real. And his guitar tone's very strange. So is he using some sort of strange synthesis? Maybe he's cheated, maybe it's sped up, maybe he's edited it all together in YouTube, maybe he's, in Pro Tools, maybe he's gone through and put all the notes right, so it sounds absolutely perfect, right? I can attest to this. Every guitarist on the planet is doing that, except for Roy. So Roy is, I've really felt this, Roy is really suffering at the moment because he's a musician, I know him really well now, he is a musician whose mission is not just to play great music, he wants to take guitar, play it and physically push it forward. Not just in the obvious things in terms of speed, I mean this guy is probably the fastest guitarist in the world, but he's also looking in terms of tone, in terms of melodic lines, in terms of genre. He's trying to push the music forward. He's continually searching for that thing where you feel like you're going into territory unknown. This is what true artists do. And in the old days, believe it or not, I believe anyway, that the record companies in the old days, yes, they peddled a lot of samey stuff, but they also, there was a market for new music. You know, I think the history of rock and roll and jazz is a history of the next new thing. What's the next new thing? Where is it? Where is it? Now, I did a video on last Sunday, which was called Is Being New Now Old? And you could see the areas I am exploring at the moment. I understand why there's only 3 tickets sold. I understand what's going on. I'm not moaning about the industry and blaming anybody to do this, right? Although Dave has said that he has emailed certain jazz publications about this gig, and he has had not even a reply. And I believe that it's that conservatism that I have discussed on this channel many a time, right? And we are not a normal jazz group. Last week I went to see the incredible guitarist Martin Miller and Tom Quayle doing a guitar clinic. That was packed out. Everyone was watching. They were all guitarists. It was a jazz gig. They played jazz standards. They played through chord changes. They improvised. And at the end I went up to them and said, that was a jazz gig. And they were like, oh yeah, well, you know, maybe. It's like this gatekeepingness, right? Which is forcing artists that don't want to be associated with jazz because they know commercially it's the kiss of death, and then combined with the jazz world, which is really snotty and established and academic, and is saying, well, is this jazz and is this jazz? Can these guys come in? Can this guy's not come in? I mean, I'm not too sure, you know. These things do make it worse, and I've criticised those on this channel. But what this video really is about is me, right, coming onto my YouTube and talking to the people who watch this channel and saying to you, I understand how difficult it is to listen to new music. I understand there's so much stuff out there. If you look in the link below, I have got 2 playlists, and I have been accused of being an old guy not listening to new music. Now that's not quite the case. I do listen to quite a lot of new music. I don't talk about it on the channel because I don't know that much about it. It's new, right? But I am listening to some, but it is absolutely daunting to go on Spotify. Since I've been creating those playlists, I have been going through like tons of jazz, rock, fusion and tons of prog. 95% of it is just samey and boring and predictable. I am right, but there is incredible stuff out there. And I'm aware of my own prejudices, but actually creating that playlist, right, and searching out new music, this has been something I have regularly done. I did it about 5-6 years ago, and it really changed my... I don't think I would be doing the YouTube if I hadn't. I've gone, right, you're an old guy, you just listen to the old same stuff over and over again. Go listen to new stuff. So what I want to say to you, you know, how about if you do use Spotify or iTunes, whatever you use, why don't you create a playlist for yourself, right, of new music that you like, right? And start, because the motivation to go, right, I want to create this playlist, I want to get a record of what I like that's out there, and go searching, and you will see psychologically, because rather than now trying to repel things, you're trying to cherry pick. Cherry picking is the right word. You know, that thing of reaching out for something and getting the reward, that's the pleasure thing. While you're doing that, looking around for someone coming in and attack you, that's the defense thing, right? If you turn new music into a cherry pick, because you've got this lovely new playlist which you're going to put all your stuff on, it will change your approach, right? And once you start doing that, you are welcome in this channel, on any of my videos, to go, this is me, and this is my playlist, this is what I'm into. I'm all about building communities. I'm all about people coming here. I deal with prog, jazz, fusion. It's all the 3 things that nobody else wants to deal with, right? A ton of other people out there love it. If you love it, come and share it, because everybody who watches this channel, you all sort of like the same stuff. And I haven't just restricted it to jazz. You know, on here, we love AC/DC, we love Deep Purple, don't we? We love John Coltrane and Thelonious Monk. We even love Louis Armstrong, but we love Yes and Genesis. We may even love Dream Theater and Porcupine Tree. We may love Weather Report. We may love Louis Cole. We may love Ronnie Size and Pat Metheny. We may love Aphex Twin or Square Pusher. I am covering, actually, a whole ton of music which is sort of linked together, but is not linked together. And you know I'm covering that, and I know I'm covering that. And when you meet up with musicians who start talking about music, we all reference the same artist. It's not the artist that everyone else references, right? So here's an idea. Go out to the general public and they love a whole bunch of bands, right? They love Queen, right? They love Led Zeppelin. But we love Queen and Led Zeppelin, don't we? Led Zeppelin, if I put a Led Zeppelin video on this channel, it will get a ton of views, right? If I put a video about Alan Holdsworth, it will get a ton of views, right? So what I'm imploring you is, I want to make this channel a place where people can come to discover new music, especially older people, but also young people who want to explore back in history. And my intention is to try and showcase this stuff. And when I'm doing it, if you've got your little playlist there and you go, well, I've got my playlist there, Andy's talking about this band, I'll check them out. And if you like them, support them. And all you have to do is like put them on your playlist, share your playlist, come and share your playlist here. Also put it out on the internet. Someone on Facebook going, I really love this band, check this out. Right, that does a band a big favour. So that was my message, you know. I actually thought that I was going to come on here and knock the music industry. But we're in a funny time at the moment and there's no point in fighting it. You know, it's nice to moan, but I hope I'm exploring, at least. I know I haven't even scratched the surface of this, but I'm trying to find a way through this myself. That's my mission in my own little world, is to try and do that. So hope this video makes sense. I hope for you non-musicians, it shows that people like me have spent my whole life prepared to go in a room and rehearse music because I love it, and then go and travel and play and not get paid to try and get the music out there in the hope that 10 people turn up, right? That is what the life is like for most musicians. And my experience as a teacher, I have learnt, working with many artists that are in the same boat, there are strategies to get around this. I've done a few videos on this channel. If you're a musician, you want me to talk more about how you get around this. So how do I get around this? You know, I'm faced with this myself. What it is, I have managed to build up a little YouTube here with a little bit of traction. So I can come on and do this thing, and there won't be 10 or 15 people watching this. Well, I could easily get over 100 people watching this, which for a jazz gig is like, you know, major league success, isn't it? Right, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one. If you liked it, like it. If you want to subscribe and see more like this, subscribe. If you want to have more content like this, put it in the message. And if you want to support me doing this, come to my gig, right? Or if you can't make it, come and join my Patreon, because the gig will be filmed and recorded, and the whole concert will probably end up in there for free. Well, not for free, but for your monthly payment. Right, and if you become a fan of Roy Marchbank, you could come and chat to him in my Patreon, because my patrons are now chatting to these musicians. I am trying to pull the audience and the artists together. This is the future. In the past, it was marketed by keeping those very separate. I'm putting them all together now. I've got so much to say on this. I'm going to stop because I know I will go on for a long time and I want to save it up. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. At the end, there'll be a little picture come up of the gig we're doing. So if you are in the local area and you can make it over, please do. I look forward to seeing you and saying hello to some of the people who watch this channel. Anyway, I'm going to say goodbye now. Bye bye. See you on the next one.